One of the questions I'm always asked is about cannabis. People say cannabis is harmless, and they're right. For most people, cannabis is harmless. But if you happen to be one of those people with a family history of psychosis, cannabis isn't harmless at all. It hugely increases your chance of developing schizophrenia. People have been worried about cannabis for centuries. In fact, one of the oldest studies was called the Indian Hemp by the Indian Hemp Corporation in the 1800s, and they were interested in cannabis and psychosis. But the big studies came out in about 20 years ago, and they were from Sweden. When people are 18 in Sweden, they go for national service, and they have quite a thorough medical exam and questionnaire. And they ask people things like, how many drugs have you taken by the age of 18? And the most interesting thing for me is people actually answer them, and answer them truthfully, which wouldn't necessarily happen in many countries. Because what they did in this study is, having done that, they then took the results of that medical exam and they linked it to people's health service use over the rest of their life. And they found that the amount of cannabis that you'd taken before the age of 18 was directly linked to your risk of developing schizophrenia. If you'd taken cannabis 1 or 2 times, it didn't seem to make too much difference. But after that, the more cannabis you took, the more your risk of developing a psychosis.
What do you think of when you hear the word psychosis? So what actually is psychosis? It's a mental health problem that causes someone to perceive or interpret things differently from those around them. Psychosis is surprisingly common. In fact, it affects 1 to 3 out of every 100 people at some point in their lifetime. Symptoms can include seeing things that are not there, hearing voices, losing touch with reality, paranoia, and confused thinking. A person with psychosis may see things that aren't actually there, like people, animals, colors, or shapes. Or they may hear voices that are angry, mean, or sarcastic. Some people may experience auditory hallucinations, where they hear people talking to them or about them, or hear other sounds that other people can't hear. Or they may feel overwhelmed, tired, and lose interest in daily activities. They may have feelings of grandeur, thinking they have superpowers, or they're a significant religious figure. Or they may be paranoid, thinking an organization or person is out to get them.